So we'll be doing a few things here. And to begin, we'll sit in Virasana. Now, I know this is not everybody's favorite, so I'm going to show a couple different ways it can go. And if none of them work, then you'll bail and just do a cross-legged position. First, if you know you need padding either under the knees or under the feet, you'll want to have a blanket under you. And then next, I'll recommend some sort of prop to sit on. I've got a block on the medium height. You could do the lower height, you could do 2 blocks to come into this basic shape. And another option here, I'm just going to show this, to make kind of a block blanket sandwich, you'll put, if it feels like you need a little space behind the knee, you can put block, blanket, and then second block to get a little space barrier. So some people like that, it feels nicer on the knees. However you've figured out your seat, come up for a second, lift the hips, and then just pull the calf flesh back and out away from behind the knees. And then Jill, come up again, wedge the blanket higher up, like more in the knee pit. Yeah. And then come down. See if that's okay. Yeah. And then take your hands on the knee flesh and kind of pull that forward so there's a little more room for the shins. Yes. Great. Oh, good. Come in. You're not Maria. What's your name?
Oh, hi, Rebecca. Sorry, I just came up to check out your studio.
Oh, great. We're about to start class. If you want to pop in, you can't. No, it's okay. Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll just check it out online.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. Welcome, though.
Oh, thank you. I just came from California and just checking out the studio.
Oh, and welcome to Dallas, too, then.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I love your place.
Oh, thanks. All right, friends. Oh, also, just so you know, the coffee shop next door, they're about to open. So if anybody needs coffee, probably not at night, but you know, some people can handle that. All right, once you're settled in your spot here, let's take your hands on the top of the pelvis and just give yourself a little tilt, a little back and forth tilt, kind of like a cat-cow. And some of us have a tendency to be more tilted back, kind of drop down or tucked under. And then some of us have a tendency to go more the other direction, more like a sway back. See if you can find middle. Yeah. And then once you have middle, use your hands, just press down the hands on the top of the pelvis, lengthen long through the side body. Yeah. And then can you release the arms? Palms can be up or down, and let your face relax and your eyes close. And just give yourself a moment to land. Just how your body feels in this shape, right here, right now. And notice the quality of your breath. Hands to heart center. You can either join me for Om or just listen if you prefer. Take a sweet breath in. And just very gently let your head bow down and your eyes blink open. And take the head to center. And then we'll release the arms, come forward here, and let's take the props out. And just to stretch out the backs of the legs, reach one leg back, toes tuck under, give yourself a little bit of and then do it the other direction, okay? All right. And then from here, yeah, Maria, block, do you have a strap too?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, awesome. So let's come down, we'll change our shape. And we'll come down onto your back and let's have your strap handy and a block handy. If you need a blanket under the head, go ahead and have that too.
Good to lock.
Yeah, I think we're good to lock the door. Thanks, Jill. And then let's take the block in between the thighs. And you'll send the legs up, and they don't have to be completely straight. They might be, but it's okay to have a little bit of a bend in the knees. And then with the legs in this position, if you need more support for the lower back, you could either slide something under the pelvis, or you could put your hands under the pelvis if you need that. Yeah, otherwise arms can be wherever. Now give your block just a gentle squeeze straight in using your inner thighs. And then we'll roll the block away from you. That's internal rotation. And then roll the block towards you, which is external rotation. So do that a few times, just a little in and out. And it's not we're not going for a max here. It's just to feel both directions. It's also a little bonus abdominal work. All right, and then we'll release, bend the knees, take the block, just put it aside. We'll set the feet down and take the feet a little wider apart and just allow the knees to go from one side to the other a couple times back and forth. Yeah. All right, and then from here, friends, go ahead and locate your strap. You can take any hold that you like. We're going to reach the right leg up, put the strap over the foot. And then the left leg here, if you're okay to have the left leg long on the floor, do. If that's bothersome for any reason, just keep the knee bent. But let's pay attention for a second to the bottom leg. So back off slightly, max stretch on the right leg. And on the left leg, can you reach the heel forward? And can you send the inner thigh towards the floor like when we had the block? Trying to find that internal rotation of the bottom leg. Now let's keep that in the bottom leg. Bend the top knee just a little bit. And can you move the right hip crease down towards the left foot? And keep that as you re-lengthen the right leg. Just hold this position. The right leg's getting a little bit of stretch on the back of the leg. And the left leg, those of you who have a straight leg, you're trying to roll the inner thigh towards the floor. And then we'll back off on the bottom leg. Just keep it there, but relax the effort. Let's move the strap now into the left hand and take the right leg over to the left, but don't go max capacity, just a little bit, maybe a foot or two. And then we'll bend the right knee again. And can you draw the right hip crease down away from your head and try to draw the left hip a little up towards your head and keep that as you re-lengthen the right leg. Now, some of you will feel perfectly happy staying right here. Some of you will feel you want to try something different. If that's you, let the right half of the pelvis lift a little more as the leg goes further over to the left. More isn't better. You'll just feel the pull in a different place. And if you did that, let's one more time, slight bend in the right knee. Pull the right hip crease down away from your head and pull the left one up towards your head, kind of like a scissor. And then re-lengthen the right leg. Oh, yes. All right, friends, let's return back to center. And we'll change sides. So set the right one down, bring the left one up. And take a second here. If you're okay to have the right leg long, do so. But if that doesn't feel good, keep the knee bent. And then let's everybody back off a little bit on the left one. So let the leg come a little bit away from you as we pay attention to the bottom leg first. Press the right heel forward and roll the inner thigh towards the floor. Can you keep that as you reset the left leg? If it feels good to bring it a little more towards you, you can. Tiny bend in the left knee. At the hip crease, can you draw the left one down and try to draw the right one up towards your head? Keep that alignment in the pelvis as you re-lengthen the left leg. Oh, yeah. Now from here, let's let the right leg, the bottom leg, relax. Move both straps into the right hand, and we'll take the leg just a bit over to the right, not too far at first. Once you're in the new position, bend the left knee again. Let's find a scissor, so pull the right hip towards your head, the left hip down, and keep that alignment as you re-lengthen the left leg. And maybe this is where you want to stay, totally fine. Maybe you want to take the leg further over, totally fine. If you do, let the left hip lift a little bit as the leg goes over. And now in your new position, one more time, slight bend in the left knee. Can you pull the right hip towards your head, the left hip away from your head? Keep that idea as you press the left leg to straight. Can you still breathe while you're doing all of this? Just asking. Yeah. Right. And then let's bring yourself all the way back up to center. Release the leg out of the strap, stretch it out long. Yeah. And let's just take a big stretch here. Reach the arms long, reach the legs long. If you'd like to circle the ankles or the wrists or both, go ahead and do anything that feels right to you. Okay. And then from here, friends, let's bring the knees in towards your chest. Just curl up like a little ball and take a little bit of movement here. Anything is fine. Yeah. All right. Let's turn over, meeting in all fours position, hands and knees. So take your time to set that up. Do feel free to have a blanket under the knees if you need that. And then from your position, once you're settled, start to move the spine around any which way. Any which way. And then from here, friends, we'll let the movement settle down. Let's take the right leg back behind you with the toes tucked under and just give yourself a little back and forth like we did earlier. And then pause here. Before we go anywhere, can you broaden the collarbones? Can you tone through the low belly? And then on the right leg, you'll lift the leg, but try to lift from the inner thigh. Yeah, keep the lift. Can you draw the right hip a teensy bit forward and the left hip crease a teensy bit back? Keep that. And then if you wish, left arm, you could either lighten the hand, maybe you stretch the arm back, maybe you stretch the arm forward. Everywhere is fine, even if that means both hands to stay on the floor. Yes. Can you continue to lift the right leg from the inner thigh rather than the outer thigh? And then release the arm, release the knee. Go back, take a brief child's pose, hips back towards the heels, and go onto your fingertips in the hands, spider fingers. Yeah. Little wrist break. And then we'll switch to side two. So reset, coming back to all fours. First, take the left leg back and give yourself that little motion that we did before. That's it. And then let's pause. Can you broaden the collarbones? Can you tone through the belly? And very slowly lift the left leg, lift up from the inner thigh. Once it's lifted, can you pull the left hip a teensy bit forward and the right hip crease a teensy bit back? Keep that. If you want to add in the right arm, anything you like. Maybe it's back, maybe it's forward. Maybe you do the little salute. Sometimes we do that one. Yeah. Good. On the left leg, can you continue to lift from the inner thigh? Keep the belly toned. And then down we come, release the arm, release the knee. Back to child's pose. Let's take this one with the toes tucked under. So the feet get a little stretched. And if it feels okay, you can walk the knees back and push the mat forward, giving maybe a little more stretch around the Achilles and the soles of the feet. All right, friends. Let's undo this, undo the feet, just give them a little shake out, and then come down onto the belly. We won't be here for too long, just for a little bit. Arms can be wherever you want them. Scooch the legs one at a time back and down just to create a little extra space. And then can you lift the legs? Don't do it yet. But when you lift them, lift from the inner thighs, which means they won't go up as high as they would if we lifted from the outer thighs. Yeah? And then put it back down. Do that again. Lift up from the inner thighs. Yeah. And back down. Last one. The legs stay lifted. And then if you'd like here, you can lift the torso. Arms could stay down. They could reach forward. They could reach back. Kind of a Shalabhasana. Yeah. Good, good. On the way down, just turn the head to one side. Relax. Bend your knees. Give the legs a little side to side, just a lazy kind of swish. Awesome. Let's put the legs back down. Press yourself up and back when you in downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Yeah, and take a little bit of time here. If you need to pedal the legs, if you need to move the hips around, take whatever you need. And then let's pause here, widen your stance a little bit. Bend your knees and walk your hands to the back of the mat. And as you arrive back there, just prop up so the forearms are on the thighs. Can you move the pelvis back, the chest forward, tone through the belly, press wide through the upper thighs. And on the next inhale, we come all the way up. Inhale to rise. And exhale, just bring the arms down alongside you. All right, let's stay in this kind of medium wide position. Soften your knees, your wrists, your fingers, and just slither around a little bit. Just any kind of easy movement. Yeah. All right, friends, it's block time. Yay. Go get your block. And we'll stand at the back of the mat with the block like so in between the upper thighs. Maria said it like that. Yeah, exactly. And how high you have it, it's just, I'll leave that up to you. We'll stand at the back of the mat and look down, and with the block in here, have the feet so the toes are pointing straight ahead. Yeah. Now this is kind of similar to when we did laying down. Give the block a light squeeze in. And feel what happens when you roll the block forward. This is external rotation. You'll likely feel the pelvis kind of tuck under and the shoulders go back to compensate. And then go the other direction, roll the block back, and you'll feel kind of the opposite. Now the torso pitches forward, the pelvis untucks. Let's come back to center. And now we'll go back again with a few little add-ons. So give the block a light squeeze in, roll it back, and now counter this action. Can you lift up through the low belly without squeezing the tail? Can you send the buttocks flush down towards the heels? And keep that. If we do it too much, we end up here again. So it's rolling the block back and then kind of compacting back and front in. Oh, yeah, can you still breathe while you're here? It's a little bit of effort. All right, let's keep this effort going on. On the inhale, take the arms up. And then on the exhale, go to forward fold. Let the legs relax a little on the way down. You can even bend the knees if you like. Come up halfway, move the chest forward. Now, super awkward, we're gonna keep the block in, come down, walk the hands out until you get to plank pose. And if that's not working out, just get rid of the block. Yes. All right, friends, we won't stay for too long, but for a little bit. Can you broaden the collarbones? Can you squeeze the block, roll the block a little bit up towards the ceiling? Then can you bring your shoulders a little more forward? Yes, that's it. And then roll the block up towards the ceiling, zip up through the belly, and draw the buttocks flush down towards your heels. Yes, Maria, you're doing it. You're doing it. I know it's not fun. Let's go back, downward facing dog. Keep the block in there if you still have it. You might have to readjust your stance a little, and that's fine. Slight bend in the knees. Now look back at your legs and see what happens when you squeeze the block and roll it back. You see how the knees kind of go in and the heels go apart. Let's counter this. Keep the block rolling back, and now also hug the ankles in towards the midline. Yeah, keep that, and then slowly start to stretch the legs a little straighter. Maybe some of you go all the way straight, maybe some of you just do partial. Awesome. All right, to get out of this, let's come a little forward, put the knees down, we'll get rid of the block, and just take a little break in child's pose. Okay, yogis. Yeah, if it feels good to give yourself a little wobble, you can. So I'm going to be cueing that internal rotation as if we had the block still there. Let's head into your downward dog again. Just get there. Put the knees ever so slightly bent. Roll your imaginary block back and try to lift the block up with your inner thighs. And then counter that action, draw the heels in slightly and start to re-lengthen the legs. And here we are in our downward facing dog. Yeah. All right, friends. Let's meet in a forward fold. So come on into your standing forward fold. Press down through the feet. Use the inhale to rise all the way up we come. And exhale to put the arms down. Yes. All right, go get your blocks if you have them. We'll set them up at the front. And momentarily, we'll be doing a lunge with the knee down. If you know you need padding, just have a blanket handy you can slide in when we get there. And let's stand in our mountain pose at the top of the mat. Feet can either touch or you can have a little space, whatever you want. Let's root down through the legs. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, we're down, forward fold. It's called Uttanasana. Come up halfway, we lengthen. And now on the way down, let's step the right leg back, lunge for now with the knee up. Yeah, all right. And then pay attention here. Actually, just make sure that arms are set so that blocks are right under the shoulders in the same line as the front foot. Yeah. Now on the back leg, pretend you still have the block there. Can you roll the inner thigh up towards the ceiling? Yeah, good. Keep that. Move the pelvis back, move the chest forward. Press down a little more through the left heel to fire up the back of the left leg. And then let's relax a little. Put the back knee down. And then you can keep the toes tucked under or go straight. Here's where you might need a blanket for the back knee. Let's inhale in this position. And then on the exhale, shift back. And if you feel okay to do it, you can peel the sole of the foot off the floor. And then on the inhale, we come forward again. So take that a few more times. If you need to move the blocks with you as you go, that's fine. There's a couple different versions of this. For now, do anything, and then I'll be more specific in a second. Great. Let's pause next time you're in the shifted back position. And then if your hips are further back than the right knee, come a little forward so the right thigh is straight up and down. And then let the whole pelvis shift a little bit to the left. Can you drop the left hip slightly without shifting to the right? And then from here, if it feels okay, keep your pelvis in position. Maybe let the arms come forward. Take a breath in. And then on the exhale, lift the belly and possibly fold over a little bit. Possibly no. That up to you. And we're going to change our shape. Let's come back. We're still on the back knee. Let's now bend the front knee and adjust yourself. Let's come hands to the hips and see how my back thigh, it's fairly straight up and down. So I'm not here, yeah? I'm more here like wedding proposal, asana. And then in this position here, can you lift up through the lowest part of the belly? And as you're doing that on the back leg, send the inner thigh back, lift up again, scooch the front leg slightly forward, and without losing this lift in the belly, let the pelvis come forward a little bit. Yeah, and hopefully you'll get a nice little stretch on the front of the right hip. You want to keep the core support in here. If you wish, here you can add in arms. Maybe they go straight up, maybe they go out wide, maybe not. Maybe you just keep the hands to the hips. All right, and then when you're ready, let's take the arms down. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee. Pause here, so we're doing this one again. On the back leg, lift the inner thigh, move the pelvis back, move the chest forward, press down more into the left heel. Now you decide, you can stay here with the arms down, or if you're up for it, stretch the arms back and broaden the collarbones. If you're still up for it, stretch the arms forward and out on the diagonal. Yes, yogis. Wherever you are, let's take 2 breaths. On the next exhale, arms come down, take a little break. But not for long because we're going to plank pose. Move the blocks, let's go back to plank. Now plank is not floating your boat here. You can do plank on the knees or just all fours for a second. Can you broaden the collarbones? Can you lift your imaginary block with the inner thighs? Maria, shift your shoulders forward, not your hands, just your shoulders. Yes, there it is. There it is. All right, guys. And then to get out, let's put the knees down, rest on the belly for a second. Oh, yeah, a little relief. Give the hips a little wiggle if that feels good. Yeah. Right, yogis. Let's scooch the legs back and down one at a time. And then this time we'll prop up elbows under you, but slightly forward of the shoulders. I'm gonna keep hands stacked. You could do that or you could make the hands parallel to each other, up to you. I meant the arms, yeah. And then let yourself sink down for a second. Without moving, without going anywhere, try to pull the arms back and pull the chest forward. Create a little tone through the belly when you do this. Great. And then relax. Go again. Press the arms down, try to pull them back as the chest comes forward. Little lift up through the low belly. And down. Relax, take a little wiggle. And then let's head back into downward facing dog. You take your time to get there. From your downward facing dog, let's meet in a forward fold at the front of the mat. Once you get there, we'll just do a few of these, this halfway position. Inhale the chest forward, lengthen. And as you exhale and go down, let the knees bend slightly. Do that a few times. So inhale is length, and the exhale is down. One more time, halfway up. And then when we come down, bring the left leg back. Let's set up for this lunge again, side 2. And for now, we'll keep the hands down. Make sure the hands are right under the shoulders. If you're on blocks, any height is fine. In the same line as the front foot. Yeah. Now pay attention to the back leg. Can you lift the inner thigh? Can you pull the left hip forward and the right hip back? Press the right heel a little more into the floor and lengthen long through the spine. Yeah, all legs. And then we'll put the back knee down on something, on the floor of the blanket. Toes can be tucked or not, your choice. Let's inhale here. And on the exhale, we'll shift back. You might have to walk the blocks back with you. Do that a few more times, back and forth. Inhale, it's forward. Exhale, it's back. Yeah, it's nice and gentle. Great. Now we're going to pause. Next time the front leg is straight. And let's adjust. So if you've gone further back, if the pelvis is behind the knee, readjust so the left thigh is straight up and down. Yeah. And then from this position, can you shift the whole pelvis a teensy bit right? A little bit. And can you lower the right hip without shifting everything left? A little bit. Yeah. Maybe this is enough. Maybe you inhale, create a little length, chest forward. And as the exhale happens, lift the belly and maybe fold over a little bit. You could do a few breaths like that. If it feels like too much, don't worry about it. Pose is called Ardha Hanumanasana. You don't need to know the name of it, but stand. Right. And then from here, let's pause. Reset. So you come into the wedding proposal. The back thigh is more or less straight up and down. Hands come here onto the hips. Let's pay attention to the bottom leg. Can you roll the inner thigh back like when you had the block? Counter that by lifting up through the belly. Let the buttocks flesh draw down without without squeezing, without gripping it. Yeah. And then from here, scooch the front foot a little bit forward. Let the pelvis come a little bit forward, but maintain the lift here. Yeah. If you want to add on, arms could either go up or wide to the side. A couple different possibilities here. Yeah. Good, good, good. All right, let's take one more breath in. Exhale, we're down, hands to the blocks. Reset, tuck the back toes under, lift the back knees. We're in this one again. Same instructions as before. Lift the back inner thigh. Can you pull the left hip forward, the right hip back, lengthen the torso. Press into the right heel, and if you wish, you could either lighten up the hands, maybe the arms come back, collarbones fly, maybe you stretch the arms forward. Yeah, let's stay for 2 breaths. And then on the next exhale, come back down. Stay here, just kind of relax for a second. Yeah. All right, and we're going back to our plank pose or your plank alternative. So let's get rid of the blocks, come into your choice. Once you're in position, can you broaden the collarbones? If the legs are straight, can you roll the inner thighs up towards the ceiling? Yeah, Maria, shoulders forward. That's it, that's it. Good job, friends. Let's go to child's pose. Put the knees down, take a little rest. If you want to wiggle a little bit, you can. And then just a very brief down dog as a transition. From here, we'll meet in our forward fold, Uttanasana. Press down into the feet. Inhale all the way up and come lengthen, lengthen. And release the arms. Yes, yogis. Okay. So next, we'll take, depending on time, either 1 or 2 different versions of Warrior 3 pose. Yay, how exciting. And then we'll do something else. So let me demonstrate this first. We'll come, just watch me here. I'm in kind of Warrior 1. And then as I hinge forward, I'm going to put my hands on the thigh and press my hands into the thigh as I lift the leg. And this is a nice version because it gives you something to hang on to. And this pressure adds in some core support. So let's try that, and I'll give you a few alignment pointers as we're on our way in. Just from the top of the mat, right leg steps back, heel to the floor, and it doesn't have to be a super duper long stance, yeah? We're more using it to launch into the next thing. Hands to the hips, bend the front knee. Hinge yourself forward, and let's put one hand on top of the other on the thigh. And as you hinge forward, go onto the tip of the right toe. Now, before we come up, when you do lift the right leg, can you lift from the inner thigh? Press hands and left leg into each other, and then go almost straight, but not quite. Keep a tiny little bend there. Yeah. Now, as you're in this position, you can use your hands to press the very top of the left thigh bone back, and try to pull the right hip a little bit forward. We're going to get out, re-land back in your Warrior 1, heel to the floor, arms up. Okay, and then come forward. At least in the studio, nobody fell, so that's good. Yeah, let's do the other side. Do you guys like that version with a little something to hang on to? Yeah, let's try it. Other side, hands to the hips. Left leg will reach back, heel to the floor. Don't go too long for this one. And then when you're ready, bend the front knee, hands stack on the thigh. I would say closer to the hip than to the knee. And then from here, start to hinge forward. You're on the tip of the left toe. Before you come up all the way, lift from the inner thigh to lift the leg. Doesn't have to go high. Press into the right heel to go straighter, but not completely straight on the right leg. And then can you move the very, very top of the right thigh bone back and pull the left hip a little bit forward. Yeah, breathing in this position. All right. And then to get out, let's step back into Warrior 1 pose. You can lift the arms. Ta-da! And come forward, release. All right, you guys, those look really good. Yeah, could you see how some of the instructions in the other poses can apply here? So we're gonna do the same pose in a different way. Go get your strap. Now, if anybody's practicing at home without a strap, you just do the same one again with the hands on the leg. If you've got the strap, if it's in a loop, unloop it. So you got one hand on each side like a jump rope, and then you'll stand over it, 2 feet step over the loop. And then you'll hold on, one hand on each side. Let's bring the right foot over the strap. Take the right leg back, maybe like a foot or so. The toes are still on the floor. Shift your weight to the front foot and then walk the hands down the strap so that it's taut. And you want straight arms for this. All right, once you're in this position, press the foot into the strap, pull the arms onto the strap, broaden the collarbones, but then at the same time, can you tone through the core so you're not in a big arch in the back? Now from here, start to hinge forward. Keep the push in the foot and the pull on the arms. Maybe you're here barely off the floor, maybe you're a little higher, maybe you're all the way torso and leg parallel to the floor. Keep the push and the pull and the arms and the legs, that'll help. And then to get out, let's unhinge, just come back up to stand. All right, another success story. Yeah, let's do the other side. So step the left foot on the strap. You might need to readjust your hand holds. Yeah. And then just step the right foot through. That's it, otherwise you'll get caught. Yeah. So the left leg is back, right leg is forward. Let's do the push and pull. So push the foot on the strap, pull with the hands, broaden the collarbones, tone the belly. That's it. When you're ready, hinge forward, letting the back leg come up just a little bit. And then if you're going well, keep the push and the pull happening as you start to hinge any amount further. And you don't have to go far. It's more about the push and pull than about the direction here. Good, good. When we're done, come back up to center. Yeah, great job. All right, let's release that. Put the strap aside. Give the fingers a little wiggle. Let's give the hips a little wiggle. And then other direction. Okay, friends. So let me explain the setup. Those of you who are on carpet, you will not need the blanket for your foot. If you're on wood floor, go get a blanket and put it in front of your mat. If you're on a wood floor and you don't have a blanket, you could use a towel, you could put on a pair of socks, anything that's going to slide against the floor. And then if anybody needs padding for a knee, you can either fold your mat up, or I'll suggest if you have a second blanket to use that. That's a little easier. I don't have one at the moment. All right. So guess where we're going? Hanumanasana. Yay. So exciting. And you don't even know what that is. So great. Let's go get your blocks. And set up the blocks. I'll suggest the highest height, one on each side. Your blanket and your knee support, there's a little gap. And that's where the blocks go. All right, let's do the left leg forward first. The heel is on the blanket. Yeah, we've already been in this position here. Now, in a second, let's actually go ahead and do it. Slide the leg forward, but don't go far, just a little bit. And then pause. Can you engage the quad muscle? Draw the kneecap up. Keep that on the front leg. And on the back leg, remember the block. Can you roll the block back on the back leg and try to pull both legs kind of in towards the midline. So the front one tries to pull back, the back one tries to pull forward. Good. You're going to back off of that effort. Let yourself slide again. Don't go max capacity, just maybe a little more, maybe a little more. And then from here, can you engage the left quad, draw the kneecap towards you. On the back leg, the right leg, roll the inner thigh back. And then can you scissor the legs towards each other? So you almost come out of the pose a little when you do that. Yeah. Now maybe that's enough. Maybe you're ready to come out. Maybe you've got one more in you. If you do, relax the effort. Let yourself glide And then one more time, find all of those actions here. Front quad is engaged, the back inner thighs rolling back, the scissor. Yeah, good. All right, some of you might be down all the way. I am not. This is as far as Hanuman's going today. Yeah, Jill, you're pretty close.
Wow.
You're pretty close. Another option, we're almost done here, but if anybody would like to put a block under the thigh, you could. Any height of block. Don't force that though if you're close, but not quite. All right, let's use the core. Tone your belly, bring yourself back in, and just pause for a second with both knees down. Give yourself a little wiggle. Yeah. Everybody okay? Okay, nothing's broken. Yeah. Now, before I do the second side, I'm purposely having us do these little baby steps so that you can find the engagement, and that'll help prevent something from going wrong. Yeah. If we just go, straight out, that could end badly. All right, let's do the second side. So that'll be right leg forward. Take a second just to get there. Go a little bit. So, okay, yeah, I'm feeling a little sensation in the right back of the leg, but not too much. Pause there. Can you engage the quad muscle, draw the kneecap towards you? Now in the back leg, can you roll the inner thigh back like when you have the block and find that scissor action again? Yeah. You can stay right here or back off of the effort. Let yourself glide again. Maybe it's a little, maybe it's a lot. And then pause. Find that effort again. So the front quad engages, the back inner thigh rolls back, and then we scissor in. Yeah. Maybe this is it. Maybe you come out early. Maybe you relax the effort and go again. Every time you go again, redo it. Find the scissor action, find the effort. Even though you'll come slightly, you won't be as deep in the pose when you do that. Oh, Maria, how you doing? This is her second yoga class, or maybe it's your third, second. Hey, and here she is doing Hanuman. All right, and Jenna, here you are doing Hanuman. All right, friends, let's come back to center. Back to center. Take a second, take a little wobble. We're gonna go one more round, but the next round will just be kind of a drive-by. We won't stay for too long. You'll see though it'll be easier the second go. Let's find out. Okay, so that'll be left leg forward. I'm not gonna do the 1, 2, 3 steps. If you wanna do that on your own, fine. Go ahead and just gently, slowly glide into whatever place you need to be here. And then once you're there, find that hug in. Oh. So Hanuman, he jumped with one foot in India, one foot in Sri Lanka, across the channel, in order to get some special herbs to rescue a princess.
Of course.
That might not be accurate, but okay, let's come back to center. I do think he was successful. He saved the day. Yeah, last side. Right leg forward. The funny thing is, if you know anybody who knows the story of Hanuman, go ahead and come in and find your hug in actions. Every time I've heard the story from a different person, the story was kind of different with like, oh wait, no, there were 4 princesses, and no, the magic herbs, they were this other thing. Yeah, so, there's some artistic liberty in there. The point was he did it in this position. All right, let's come back to center. Just take a little wobble, take a second. We're gonna do down dog in a second. Hands might be a little tired. If you need a little wrist circle, go ahead and do that. Let's do this actually. So interlace your fingers, keep the knuckles forward and come forward. Bring the right wrist ahead and pull the left one towards you. Yeah, this is a good computer break pose too. Do the other side. Yeah, you're doing it. And then come back to center, swap the way your fingers are interlaced. The other thumb is on top. Yep, and then go again. Yeah. You can bend the elbow of the arm that's pulling in, and then switch. All right, and then release that, move the fingers a little bit. If you had to fold up your mat, let's reset. We're gonna go back to down dog. So just take a second to redo. And once you get into the position, let's go with a wide stance in the feet. So feet are pretty wide apart. And with the wide stance in your feet, let's bend the knees, press the mat forward with your hands, send the hips back. And imagine you've got a larger block, you're rolling back. Counter that with the feet, hug the heels in a little bit, and try to press the feet apart on your mat, and slowly, slowly let the legs start to go straighter. And they might not go straight at all. Let this be more about the width than about we've already stretched the hamstrings, yeah? So don't worry about that too much here. Right. And then let's have a little break. Child's pose. Keep the arms forward once you get there. And then walk both arms a little to the right, and you'll probably come off the mat somewhat. Lengthen long through the left side of the body. And then we'll switcheroo. Arms go over to the left. Oh, lengthen long through the right side of the body. Anybody else have one side crazy tight and the other not so much? Yeah, one side's usually tighter than the other. All right, friends, let's come back to center. And we'll sit up with the legs out in front of you. Dandasana, seated staff pose. Do feel free to put a little blanket under the pelvis if you need extra height, or if it feels like you're dropping back. That can be really helpful. Maria, fold it in half one time so it's a little bit higher.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah. All right. Yes, is that better? Yeah. All right, so let's put the hands down either on your blanket or on the floor, just kind of on the fingertips. Press down through the hands to lift up long through the torso. And let's have this a fairly active position for the legs. Reach the heels forward, especially the inner heels. Can you create a little bit of tone through the belly without dropping and rounding? And then anybody, you can keep the hands down if you need that for support. You can take the arms up as long as you don't collapse. If you collapse, keep the arms down. But if they're up, can you use the arms to help lengthen your body? Yeah. And then think about just the inner part of the shoulder. Let that soften down a little bit. Yes. Gorgeous. I think this is one of the hardest poses in yoga, Dandasana. Not an easy one. All right, release the arms, relax the legs. You can give the legs a little asana. Now, this next one, this will be for those of you who have blocks. If you have blocks, you're gonna set them up. They're on a little bit of a diagonal. I'll show you how this looks. Hips will lift up like a bridge post, and then you'll set the blocks in, and the pelvis is pretty close to the floor. It's maybe an inch off, and the blocks are holding you up. Yeah, and I'm gonna come by and mess with you for a second. So here, just lay down. I'm gonna get rid of these. Okay. Lift the hips. More. And come down. Good? Okay. Good. Yeah. And then let me also just pull with the lights real quick. Great, friends. Let the belly relax. And imagine your low back just kind of widening the back of the pelvis. Now, if you don't have blocks and you want this, it's not quite the same, but kind of a similar idea, just be on the back with the knees bent and let the thighs drop in towards the midline. So you get this same sense of widening through the back of the pelvis. So take a few easy breaths. And then my friends with the blocks, you'll just lift the hips a little, pull the blocks out and to the side, just come back down. And then let's everybody take a little, kind of just a windshield wiper, the knees drop from side to side. It might feel nicer to have the feet wider for this, so you can let the feet separate a little bit more. Yeah. And then we'll come back to the center, make the feet not quite so wide. Stretch the right leg long on the floor, bend up the left knee, bring it in towards your chest. And then let's twist, bringing the left leg over to the right side. Now be very small with this, but some of the same things we did earlier in class. Try to draw the right hip towards your head, the left one down away from your head, just in a small way. And then if you're sensitive here, think about the left ball and socket joint and press the ball out, away from the midline, away from the pubic bone. And let's come back to center. And we'll switch. So the left leg goes out long, the right knee bends in. And then you choose here how far you're taking the twist. Further isn't better, it's just different. And then once you're in your new spot, can you draw the left, gently, left thigh bone towards you, right one away, kind of the same as the scissor idea. And then in the right hip ball and socket joint, can you press the ball out, away from the midline? And then from here, bring yourself back to center. If it feels good, you might take both knees in, maybe give the legs a little stir. Maybe reach the legs up, any kind of movement in the feet. Maybe some of you would like a happy baby. Any kind of movement or no movement is fine. We're almost near the end here. So our last shape will be Shavasana, our final resting pose. Some of you will be completely happy just laying flat. Some of you will feel better if you put some kind of a prop behind the thighs or under the head. So take whatever you need. Then just settle in here. Just allow the work to be done. Mental work, as well as the physical work. In particular, can you relax the belly? And all around the hips, pelvis, the lower back. Relax inside and around the knees. Inside and around the ankles. Back up and let go of any kind of tension in the neck, shoulders, shoulder blades. Bring your awareness back to your body. Start to take any kind of movement, just anywhere, anyhow. Whenever you're ready, allow your knees to bend and roll over to one side. And from there, take your time to come up to sit. Sitting. Take hands to heart center. And thank your whole body for everything that it's able to do. And thank yourself for being here. Namaste.